Okay, so can you guys see the slides? Is anyone having problem with audio and video? All right. So hopefully this won't take too long. I'll try um, to finish the whole webinar within 1 hour, inshallah, because I do have other stuff to carry on later on. So today is quite different from the other webinars because I'm focusing more on the trading strategies that I usually use, and maybe it can be an eye opener for the rest of you. So this morning there are two topics I would like to cover. The first one is the trading strategy, and next one is obviously BBMA. If you have any questions on MHB and reentry, because these are the two setups that the only two setups in BBMA that we are supposed to entry. Okay. So for the trading strategy, we'll be covering small topics such as the trading scheme, trading plan, money management, and discipline. Okay. Um, so let's move on if everyone's okay with that. So when we talk about trading schemes, what I'm trying to say here is you have to define what particular trader you are. So the way you plan your trades, the way you execute your daily trades um, should be in accordance to whatever type of trader you are. There are only three types, to be honest. You can either be a scalper, intraday, or a swing or position trader. So what you need to do today, if you haven't decided yet, I mean, if you haven't know about this yet, that you have to ask yourself, what particular trade are you most comfortable with? Okay, to be honest, for myself, I'm very comfortable with scalping and also intraday because I don't like to leave my entry for days and whatever. However, later on, I will try to explain how you can solve issues of having problem like how do I hold positions and other stuff like that. Okay, so if you have decided that you are a scalper, then you should know that your entry should be based on the setups on H1, M15, and M5. Okay, so whatever is happening at H4 and above is irrelevant to whatever you're trying to achieve in the lower time frame, because usually the lower time frame is doing the work for the bigger time frame. But although you are a scalper, there is still you still need to respect whatever setup that is available on a higher time frame. Okay, so if you're a scalper, then obviously these are the time frames that you should be looking at. Intraday, you should be looking at H4, H1, and M15. Okay, and for the swing traders, then it's obviously H4 and above. Okay, so it's totally up to you to decide to yourself what particular trader you are. Okay, if you're a person that is busy the whole day, then I suggest that you should aim for intraday or swing trades. But if you are a person that has some time at night or in the afternoon, you can be what what I personally do is I'm both scalper and intraday. Anybody can have all three types of trading scheme. However, the most important thing when you do scalping, intraday, and swing at I mean if I was to plan that I would do scalping, intraday, and swing as well, you have to understand that if you are going for scalp, intraday, and swing, you need to have one account for each particular trading scheme. It shouldn't be on the same account where you entry for swing, where you entry for intraday, where you entry for scalping. So it's totally. I mean, you need to divide. You need to make three different accounts for three different type of trading. This is one big mistake that people usually do. You make entries and um, you haven't finished with the first entry. You already entry on another pair. The other two pairs is already floating negative. You're still gonna entry on another pair. So there is no proper plan or strategy set for your trading. You're just trying to trade and shoot whatever that you can see. So you don't set yourself some goals to achieve on a particular day. So this is the most important thing that a trader should be able to do, should be able to plan on a daily basis. You need to be able to calculate or set yourself targets on a daily basis, weekly basis, and also a monthly basis. If you do not set yourself up for a particular target, then you don't know how you don't know your achievements for that particular day or a week or a month. So you cannot gauge on your success rate, your win and loss ratios, other stuff like that. Okay. So next thing is the trading plan. Basically, if you haven't have a trading plan as of yet right now, then I suggest to you that you sit down after this over a cup of coffee and try to create your own plan. Because if you don't have any plan, then you don't know where you're heading. If you don't have any purpose or any trading goals, then you're just gonna be floating around, beating the bush, and at the end of the day, you don't have any particular goal, and you probably at one point become, your account balance gonna go below zero. So it's very important that you set yourself a trading plan, because when you have a trading plan, when you have a good trading plan, then that's when you will become a much more that makes you the difference between a successful trader and a normal trader like the rest of us. Okay, so based on your trading style earlier on, so the reason why I asked you to decide what particular trader you are, so based on that particular trading style, if you're a scalper, if you're an intraday or swing trader, you need to set up a plan based on that particular trading style. So what you need to do is, if for example, for me, let's say that I'm a scalper, okay, and my capital for a scalper, to be honest, for a scalper, I would start with 30 USD or 50 USD. For intraday, 50 USD is good enough. For swing trade, I think $100 is more than enough for a swing trade. Okay, for the capital, you need to decide to yourself how much you are willing to invest and how much you are willing to lose in this particular area. Okay, so you need to work out your your risk and reward ratio. So once you have a particular capital in your hand that you want to invest on for next month, for example, let's say next month I would invest $100 for my scalp trading or my intraday, for example, because I will be busy next month, and I think I only have a few hours in my day to set up a trading plan. Okay, so when you set up yourself a monthly target percentage from your capital, you need to be very honest to yourself. You need to set up you need to set a target that is achievable, that a target that you can do. Do not set up yourself for a target that is really hard and it's going to make you miserable and pressurize yourself. Let's say, for example, that I started my capital as $100 capital, okay? So, let's say, sorry for the, okay, that's a really crappy drawing, so let me just erase that. Let me say that we start with $100 USD capital, okay? So I have to be very honest to myself that I need to target a percentage of how much I want to grow this money. Okay, so let's say, for example, that I want to grow this capital for about 20% this month. That's much more achievable because 20% of $100 is about $20. So would I be able to do that within the space of 1 month? You have to understand that in 1 month there is only 20 days. Sorry, my handwriting's crap. Worth of trading. Okay, so if you know there's only 20 days worth of trading in every week of that month, there's only 5 days trading days. Okay, so you have about 4 weeks, and that's about 20 days. So in a day, if I want to achieve 20%, which is $20, at the end of the month, I want to have about $120. I will need to achieve about $1 a day. So is that really impossible for you to do? Okay. So if you ask yourself about that, then I mean, I'm pretty sure that all of you out there, there's very, it's very achievable for you to achieve $1 a day. So if you have achieved $1 a day, then whatever you gain after that is a bonus. Okay. So now you know your target. We already set up ourselves for that particular target. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to set up a daily target, which is that's about $1 per day. Okay, $1 or $2 per day, for example. Okay, so if I want to achieve $2 a day, or sorry, $1 a day, then I will need to gain 10 pips. So what we need to change, I mean, it's very important for you to change your mindset in terms of how to achieve goals in trading. You shouldn't count money, your target based on money. You should be basing your targets on pips. Okay, that is the most important thing. So let's say, for example, if I want to achieve $1 a day, then I would set up myself for a 10 pips per day, which is I'm pretty sure that everyone can achieve. Okay, so if I want to get $2 a day, then obviously that's 20 pips. Okay, so let me just erase these things here. All right, so now we talk about money management. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a target spreadsheet. What do I mean about this? Okay, in a few minutes I'll open up a spreadsheet that I just made literally in a few minutes ago, and then you also need to create journals. A target spreadsheet is obviously an Excel spreadsheet for you to set up your targets, your daily targets, and also your monthly targets, what you want to achieve on that particular month. Because we already decided that we want to, from our $100 capital, we want to achieve $20 a month. Okay, and create a journal. The journal is obviously it's just a note of whatever entry that you have done for the day. I suggest that you create yourself a Telegram channel only for yourself, and whatever entry that you have done for that day, you screenshot and send it to that particular channel so that you can refer excuse me, so that you can refer on a later day what particular trade that you did, and if you find out which particular trade setups that worked for you and which particular setup that didn't work for you. So it'll be a good platform for you to backtest or check whatever you have done before. And next one is you need to make calculations of your daily and your monthly targets. Okay, this is very important. Finally, you need to work out your weekly, monthly personal statistics on win and loss ratio. If you don't, if you do not make this, if you don't do any statistics based on your own trading achievements, then you will not be able to progress. Okay, you need to create this statistics, so you will build more confidence on your trading. And also, if you are way behind, for example, your win and loss ratio, you having more loss than your win, then obviously you need to seek help from others that that can teach you, that can guide you, rather than keep on forcing yourself into a trade and then keep on losing. So I suggest that you work out your own statistics, and based on that, you find out what particular setup that works for you. And I'm pretty sure, inshallah, one day you'll be able to be a consistent trader, because that's what trading really requires. You need to be a very consistent trader in order for you to achieve your goals, in order for you to be able to make withdrawals at the end of the month, because that's what I'm trying to tell you here for you to do. Okay, so let me just open an Excel sheet that I just created. Can you guys see this? Okay, so this I just created a simple multi-target spreadsheet here. So this is based on 20% monthly target based on your $100 capital, for example. So this account, let's say for example that I'm using Y broker, okay, for example, okay. Let me just merge that, and this is my something like that. Okay, my ID. Let's say my ID for this particular account. So I know that whatever, this is the broker and this is my ID, I'm going to use, for example, scalping method, or for example intraday. Okay, all right. So let's say that I'm going for intraday on this particular account. So if you can see here, on a daily basis, I set up a 1 cent lot on a daily basis, and I set up myself on a 20 pip daily targets. So I'm pretty sure that most of us can achieve this daily target. Okay, so if you set up on on an unachievable daily target, then I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to do it. Okay, so as long as you achieve your daily target, then you should lock this profit. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Before I go into that, let me just explain what are the columns for. Okay, so for example, I started with $100 account on an intraday trading scheme using an Y broker and with an ID like this. Okay, so you should have different spreadsheet for different accounts. Okay, so I set myself up for a 20% monthly target. So on the first day, what I need to do is I set myself up for every day I should be able to achieve about 20 pips. And every day I will only use 1 cent lot. At the end of the day, if I achieve these 20 pips, I will gain about $2 per day. And what I will do with this $2 is I will withdraw this $2 into another account, or because most of the brokers, they don't allow you to withdraw $1 a day, for example. So you need to be able to have a wallet or another account for you to set up as a bank, for example. Okay, so basically whatever is in this withdrawal column will go to this bank account or your wallet. Okay, so whatever's left from that $2, you still have $1 a day. This $1 a day will add up to your daily capital. So if you do this for the next 20 days, trading days, you have 20 trading days for a month, then you should be able to grow your account to about $120 a month. This is 20% target, and also you also be able to withdraw $20 because you already done $20, because your daily target is supposed to be $1 a day to get you 20% of $100. However, you set up yourself on a 20 pip target. That's why you have $20 on the withdrawal side, and you also have $20 on your capital. So for this month, you have already achieved about 40% of your $100. So is everyone clear with that explanation? Would you want me to go through with it again? Okay, since there's no questions, I'll move to the journal. So on a daily basis, your journal should be looking like this. Okay, let's say for example, I started on the first day of my trading day, and this is the first entry that I did. On USD JPY, I went for buy on H1 reentry, and my target for this is about 20 pips. However, on that trade, I lost 10 pips because of the trade didn't work out as planned. So obviously, I lost on 10 pips on this. Okay, and then on GBP JPY, on the next entry, I went for buy on MHB M15. So on this one, because it's a M15, I just set up myself for 10 pips target. So I managed to get my 10 pips. So now I'm back to zero at this particular trade. I still haven't achieved my 20 pips daily target. Fortunately, on the next entry, I went for gold, sell H1 reentry. My target was about 20 pips, but I managed to gain about 43 pips. So this is what you need to do on a daily basis. You should put yourself up for whatever entries you did and win and loss ratio in accordance to that. So for example, if this is the entry, so let's say I went for GBP JPY entry. For example, I went on an MHB buy GBP JPY on M15, which is, let's say for example, this particular MHB over here. So this is the retest. Let's say I went for the buy. Let me just fix this one up. Let's say I bought GBP JPY over here. So my target is only about, for example, 10 pips. So about 10 pips, which is about mid BB. Okay. So once I already achieved my target about 10 pips, what I need to do is to set myself up. Let me just fix this. Is to put my stop loss or people call it break even or SL plus. I like to call it SL plus because I know that this is, even if the price went back down to this particular level, I still achieve 10 pips on this particular trade. Okay, so let's say for example that I entry over here buy, and then I set, when the price is already over here, I'll set myself up for a 10 pip um, a 10 pips stop loss, okay, which is stop loss SL plus. So when I see, let's say for example, when I see that the candle reject top BB, let's say for example we didn't take profit over here because we know that it's gonna go up again, because M15 is outside the blinker band and there's a possibility of price going towards M15. However, let's say for example you set yourself up here SL plus 10, and then all of a sudden it went back down here. You shouldn't be angry about this particular thing. You shouldn't be disappointed because you set yourself up for that daily, your target as 10 pips over here. When you achieve 10 pips, then you are already achieving whatever goals. If for example that you entry over here, for example you entry buy over here, and then you set yourself up for that buy over, let's say for example you set up the market already traveled over here, then every time there's a 10 pip increment, then it should move your SL plus. Every time 10 pip increment, you should move your SL plus. Then in accordance to this okay, unfortunately, hang on, yeah. Okay, let me share this. Okay, let me explain lagi one more time. Alright, so for example, you went on a buy, on re-entry buy at this particular juncture. Okay, so you went for buy over here, for example. Let's say you went on a buy on this particular trade and you know the market is gonna go up. Okay, when it go up, as soon as you achieve a 10 pip or 20 pip increment, for example this is about 20 pip over there. So as soon as you have 20 pips, then you should mark your daily target, for example. Okay, so when it went up to top BB rejected it and the price went back down. As soon as it went back down, then it triggered your stop loss. For whatever reason, you shouldn't be disappointed on this particular trade because you have already achieved your daily targets. Okay, however, now it went down, there's another possible setup over here. So during that setup, you wait for this candle to close and you entry at the next candle, which is the retest candle. The reason why this is a retest candle is because this is the re-entry buy. This candle went back down to give you a much slower re-entry buy. Okay, so now you have set up yourself on an M15 re-entry buy. So you have to understand that M15, they are a small time frame, and it depends on the setup on a higher time frame what it's trying to do. Okay, so now when you entry when you entry buy on this particular re-entry buy, as soon as you have momentum over here, okay, then you calculate how many pips you have achieved. So from here you need to get about 20 pips. Okay, that's about over there. Okay, so when you achieve 20 pips, you set your daily target on that particular area. Okay, and then once you have set your SL plus on the 20 pip mark, then you should be able to relax. Now you can look onto other market opportunity. You can look to other pairs because you have already secured your profit in this particular target. If you know that this setup is going to be going farther, then you just leave it be. So if you see on after a few hours there's another re-entry, as soon as there's another re-entry, then what you can do is you can move your SL plus on another level. So now you're achieving about 45 pips. So now you just leave it again while you're looking for another, for example, while you're looking for another entry, which is, let's say that's a buy entry on M15, and then you just move to another entry because you have already secured your profit on this one. Okay, so this is how you set up yourself on to be able to achieve your daily targets. Okay, let's say for example that you're not really confident, you're not confident to gain 20 pips. So what you can do is you try to set up yourself on a 5 pips increment. Okay, as soon as you get 5 pips, let's say this is 10 pips, let's say as soon as you get 5 pips, then you set yourself up on a 5 pips increment. If that trade went back that and then it triggered your stop loss plus, then you still didn't lose anything. Okay, then that's what you need to understand. And when you make more entries, that's why I encourage people to make your account as an sub IB or IB account. What sub IB or IB account is? Those are introducing broker account. When you are using introducing broker accounts, you gain commissions from every trades that you do. So let's say for example, on a daily basis, your entry is about 0.01. Okay, so let's say 0.01 on a daily basis, you times that, let's say for um, 10 entries a day, for example. Over the period of let's say how many days, if let's say, okay, let's say if you accumulate $1 $1 lot, then you will get about 12 USD commissions from the broker that you have make yourself an introducing broker. So what I suggest to you guys, that although you are growing your account slowly over here, you also need to make sure that you're using an introducing broker accounts. So for you guys who wants to know much more about this, you let me know. Then I can show you brokers that have their introducing broker schemes. Okay, so if you're from Malaysia, I think you guys could go to XM or other brokers. If you're from whatever countries you are, you can ask your friends about it because I'm pretty sure some people would know about this. But if you don't have anyone to ask, then just private message me. I will teach you how to get an introducing broker accounts. I think if you search the channel, my channel, I already made a guide on making introducing broker accounts and what benefits you get out of it. Okay, so then once you have done your journal on a daily basis, then you should have a statistic spreadsheet. So based on this, on the first day, I've won 2 out of 3 trades. Then you will have a win and loss ratio for that particular week. So you base it on every week. So this is how you set yourself up on a particular goal. Okay, you have a purpose, you have set goals that you want to achieve on a daily basis. If you do not have this as of yet, I suggest that you make one as soon as possible right now, because the if you do not have a set plan, then you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you want to do, then you wouldn't know if you're achieving or not. So this is the major difference between us from a successful trader. Okay, so I really need to emphasize this on you guys to make sure that you understand the importance of this. Okay, so I think with that, that's more on the first part of the webinar. Okay, hang on, let me just so I already talked about the trading scheme, the trading plan, money management, and this. Okay, finally discipline. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about disciplines. So setting yourself up on an entry, the first thing that you need to understand is, for this particular example over here, this is a reentry buy. Do not entry until the reentry candle is closed. Okay, what do you mean close? On my previous webinar, I already highlighted how the candlestick formation. Okay, so a candle buy, it opens at the bottom, closes at the top, and candle sell, open at the top and closes at the bottom. So if this is an M15 time frame, then you should know that the re-entry should close in about 15 minutes. So when this candle closes, you can be able to entry at the next retest candle. So my biggest suggestion to you is to wait until the candle close and you entry buy on the next candle. As soon as you have achieved your daily target, you set up your daily pip target, for example. Okay, let's make me. Okay, so when you achieve 20 pips, this is the discipline that you need to instill in yourself. Okay, you shouldn't let your entries open wide for any particular change. If at some point it went up here and you move your SL plus to about 30 pips, for example, then you have an extra 10 pips. If the market went down and hit your SL plus, you are still gaining pips. That is the most important thing that you should understand. Okay? Okay. Let's say, for example, you just lost a trade. Okay? What you need to do after losing a trade is you need to find out what went wrong. What went wrong on your analysis? Why did the market went the other way? Okay, so you need to understand that. And once you understand that, and once you understand the SOP of MHB, for example, okay, let me explain on MHB on this particular bit. Okay, let's say this is extreme A sell. Okay, let me just put this away for a while. Let's say this is an excuse me. So let's say that we are going to entry sell on this MHB. Okay, so there's extreme A sell over here, and sorry, I think this one's a much more better. I, I'll just box it over here. All right. So let's say, for example, we are going to entry sell on this particular MHB. There's extreme A sell over here, MA outside of the Blinger band. So MA outside of the Blinger band, extremes A has four characteristics. You have to know this by heart. First is the moving average outside of the Blinger band. Second is there is a reverse candle which closes inside the Blinger band. Okay, this is not counted because it doesn't close inside the Blinger band. So when it closes inside the Blinger band, then the next candle is the retest candle. This is the point of entry sell to TP Wajib. Why you need to take profit here is because at TP Wajib is also re-entry buy. So if you want to be safe, do not entry sell here. You wait until MHB. So now you have to understand, after extreme A means that there's a possibility of a trend reversal, but it's not confirmed yet until there is an MHB. Okay, now the candle went up after re-entry buy or TP Wajib down here. The candle went up. There's a candle excuse me. There's a candle that couldn't break top BB. There's a reverse candle. Now what you need to do is you have to mark the highest body. Okay? You mark the highest body. Hang on, let me just fix this. You mark the highest body, and whatever candles goes back in here is the retest. So this is a retest candle. We entry sell on this one. Let's say we entry sell on this particular MHB. We entry sell over here. Let's say for whatever reason it went down. We were happy. This is about 20 pips. We didn't set our target. We didn't set our SL plus over here. Okay? We didn't set our SL plus on that 20 pip mark. You see? Let's say this one is, where's the 20 pip? Okay, over there. So we didn't set ourselves up for that 20 pip mark. So what happened is, after that, the price went back up. As soon as it went back up, there's another retest here. So we're telling ourselves that, okay, it might be an MHB retest again. And then on the next candle, this candle breaks the highest body. This cancels out this MHB. You have to be disciplined enough to know that if this MHB is invalid by this one, you should already cut your losses. You should not get stuck in to having to wait out. Maybe later on it's gonna go down. Do not force yourself on a trade that is not going your way. This is the discipline that you have to teach yourself. Okay? So for whatever reason you didn't take that 20 pips because you already set yourself up for that 20 pips target. If you have set yourself up on that 20 pips target, then you have already secured your profit. When it goes up, you're already green. You already achieve your daily target. Hence, you don't have to wait until now you're on the losing side. Let's say, for example, that you tell yourself, maybe it's going down after this. Okay, so you wait out until now there is a CSM. This is also another indication that this MHB is cancelled out. So by now, if you didn't cut your loss here, you should. This is a must that you have to cut your loss at this particular juncture. So now, if you look at it from here to there, that's about 26 pips. You have lost about $2.60 on this particular trade for a 0.01 lot. So these are the things that you need to understand when it comes to trading. Okay, you need to make sure that you know the SOPs for MHB. If you entry on MHB, you need to know what are the criteria that you need to cut your losses. Because when you entry on a trade, the first thing that is on your mind is not the profit. You have to tell yourself the risk that you're taking, how much risk you are willing, and where is your cut loss point. That is the first thing that you should set yourself up. Once the market is going down your way, then now you can set yourself up for the profit taking. Okay? So I hope on this MHV entry, I hope you guys understand what are the particular things that you need to be able to understand. When you go to my channel, I already put up MHV SOP. So I hope you guys can follow that SOP, so for you to be able to understand where you should take your profit, where you should cut your losses and stuff like that. Okay. So I think we did cover about MHB. Now we need to cover about reentry. So what you need to understand when it comes to reentry, every first CSM buy, every first CSM will create a reentry. Okay. So what you need to understand, when this is uptrend, when M15 is below mid BB, this is an uptrend market, the best possible entry for you is to follow where the market is going. So if you're a scalper intraday, you should be looking at what is the particular trend at H4. If you know the trend is uptrend, then you should be aiming for a buy in this particular case, because sooner or later, if you're floating negative, sooner or later your entry should be going to green, to blue. Okay. So for re-entries, you should understand that every candlestick momentum will create a re-entry. Once it pulls back to Malo 5 and Malo 10, wait until the re-entry candle closes. Okay, as soon as it closes, then you can entry buy. So for this case, after 15 minutes waiting for this candle, then there is a re-entry buy over here. So you entry buy when it pulls back down. You entry buy on that particular trade over there. Now you should tell yourself where you should cut your loss. Let's say I want to cut my loss on a 20 pip mark because I'm targeting 20 pip as well. So that's about over there. Okay, so that's my 20 pip cut loss. Fortunately over here it went up to top BB. Okay, because when it went up to top BB, then you know that the price will be reversing, because this is extreme B. The price will go back down to middle BB. So as soon as you know that, then what you did is you take your profit on that particular area. Okay, so from here on this entry up to there, you have already achieved about 190 pips. So now what, correction, that's not 190 pips, that's about 19 pips. Okay, I'm sorry, that's about 19 pips. So now what you need to do on a daily basis is you just need to wait for another entry. You only need to achieve one more pip for the day. So this is the things that you need to discipline yourself on. Okay. Okay, I have a question here from Tamani. If I am trading from H4 chart, should I be waiting for re-entry on H4? Okay, if you are trading on based on H4, I would highly suggest that you should aim for re-entry on H1. Okay, so for example over here you have one re-entry down here, this MHB, and then you have a re-entry. This re-entry over here is, let me just pull out my notes on this one. Okay, let me just share this notes. This is the BBMA notes if you guys haven't have this yet. So if I go to re-entry, okay, unfortunately this is in Malay, but I'll just explain to you. This is the re-entry that you should be focusing on. This is the re-entry that is the best entry of all. Okay, When there's a reentry on MA5, MA10, and mid BB, there's a minimum of 3 candles that it will go up and go down. If it's sell, it's going to go down 3 candles. If it's buy, it's going to go up 3 candles. This is the best entry that I highly suggest to you guys. Okay, so in this particular case, excuse me. In this particular case, this is the reentry candle on H1. So what you need to do is when the price went down here, if you are not confident enough for that entry, wait until this candle closes as a buy candle that rejects mid BB, Malo 5 and Malo 10. Now this is a re-entry candle. The next candle is the retest. Why is it a retest? It tries to go down again to give you a much lower entry buy. So let's say you entry buy over here. As soon as there is a candlestick momentum, you know the market is going to go your way. So if you set yourself up on a daily target of 20 pips, then what you should do is you have to lock this 20 pips. So for example, let me count that here. So that's about over there. Okay. So that's about over there, that 20 pips. As soon as you have this momentum over here, because this is not considered momentum yet because it's just partially of the candle body. Okay. This is a full candle close outside of the Bollinger Band. The definition of candlestick momentum is the candlestick closes outside of the Bollinger Band, momentum Bollinger Band. That's the definition of a candlestick momentum. Okay. Once you have locked this, then now the market is going upwards. Okay. So what you should need to do whenever you have a 10 pip increment, another 10 pip or 20 pip over here, you should move your stop loss again. Okay, so now instead of getting 20 pips for today, you are achieving 40 pips. Okay, so now before you sleep, the market is already over here. Let's say for example, now you should move your SL plus over here because you want to grow your account. So now you should check that this is about 85 pips. Okay, now you are free to do, even though at 20 pips just now, you are free to do whatever you want to do on your daily basis because you already achieve what you want to achieve on a daily basis. But if the market continues to go up, then obviously that's a good thing for you. Now you can raise your bar and keep holding that position. So this is the most important thing about holding your positions. You have to lock your daily targets first. Once you achieve your daily targets, then whatever comes after that, you have to lock that as well. Keep on locking until your SL plus is hit. Okay? If it's hit, then you already have achieved your daily targets. Okay? As soon as you set yourself an SL plus, then now you can look onto another market. Okay? That's when you can go to another pair to look for another entry. Up until that this entry is not on the blue, you haven't locked this profit yet, do not go to another pair as of yet. Do not jump to pair after pair. Monitor first, lock your profit, then you move on. That's how you should be doing your trades. Okay? So I think that's it for today. I hope that even though it's short, but I hope that I have managed to give you an eye-opener on what you should be doing on your daily trades, how you should trade smartly when it comes to trading. When it comes to gaining pips, you should set yourself up a monthly target, as I said earlier on. So based on this monthly target, you should have your own calculation. Okay, it is very important that you should make these plans. You have the weekends right now. You have one more week till November. From today until 1st of November, I want you to make your plans, do some plannings and what you want to do. You have to you have to define what particular trader you are. Okay. So is there any questions before we close the session?